For researchers to engage with the public is vitally important for a whole variety of reasons. First off, for publicly funded research, there is an obligation to ensure that the taxpayer, to put it bluntly, can see where the money's going. But the other, and possibly I think more important issue, is to maintain the science. We're talking here about the ability to engage and enthuse with younger audiences in particular. I know at our laboratories, for example, when we bring groups of school children around, they leave much more inspired and enthused. The teachers who come with them are much more inspired and enthused, and that's the future generation of researchers on which the future of our science depends, the future of our economy depends, the future of the world depends. And that's a really vital obligation. I mean, when you're a researcher and you're in a university, you are in quite a privileged position, and you might think it's hard, and it is, but it's often hard to explain to people outside unless you make the deliberate effort to do so. So I'd encourage any researchers doing any subject to actually talk to experts in public engagement, get some hints, and actually think about how you can engage particularly younger people with what you're doing, regardless of the discipline. It's quite interesting. At CERN, the European Particle Physics Laboratory, they do a series of little tests with local school kids, and they ask them to draw a picture of their impression of a researcher or a scientist, and then they go and meet some. And the difference is astounding. The typical image of one person working in a lab in a white coat, and then they turn out to be normal people actually engaging and being really enthusiastic about stuff. And we find that too. We bring particularly groups of female students, school students around our labs, and they leave, and the message is that they didn't know that science was, in many respects, such a team activity. And that's quite an important characteristic particularly for female students. And we find that just simply adds to that attraction and interest in science. But it's not just science, it's the arts, it's the humanities, it's a whole variety of research. And basically, from the Research Council's perspective, we think that's really important, first off, to make sure that people know where the money's going, but also to ensure that we maintain the future.